All right. Good. All right, Fresh Air, Korean Wear here with the infamous, what's your last name?
We have different last names.
Okay.
Anderson and Dillard.
Anderson and Dillard.
Yeah.
All right.
Blame it on our father.
Excuse me?
Yeah, blame it on our father.
Hey, man. People live their lives. Happy you here.
That part.
Exactly. So today, once again, I want to make sure that I brought you guys. You was talking about bringing things into fruition. I thought about this months ago.
Yeah. How
this would look. I appreciate the universe for providing it, for you guys being a part of it. Also, just for documentation. I say I'm shout out to Sarah in Chicago. She called me the documentarian.
Okay.
That's something that she came up with, and I appreciate it, Sarah. At the same time, the point is that I want to showcase entrepreneurs and their lifestyles, right?
Okay.
So I have a lifestyle consulting firm, shout out to IMAS Consulting, for 20 years. I've been doing that, talking to entrepreneurs, talking to state, federal, military people. So this kind of example is what I would always have to tell people about, but never show them. And that became very problematic for myself because I thought about my daughter, I thought about the folks that I was mentoring. They need good examples. And they don't need me to tell them, hey, I let these 2-3 brothers, because that's what I've been doing.
Right.
We're rich and poor. The reason why I like it is because there's 3 brothers there. Hey, 3 brothers? No, 3 brothers. I have to make that distinction. Ain't that crazy? There's 3 actual brothers that are doing it, right? And they're like, straight up? I'm like, yeah, come through. That's actually something that people want to see. And it's amazing to me that we don't have as many examples of you guys, and that's what I believe today is about. Okay, so if you could introduce yourselves, if you have any other businesses, and then after you do that, then we'll talk about why is it that you guys came up with this? How did y'all come together? Form Voltron to do the rich and poor. Is that cool?
Gotcha.
So can you start off, please?
All right. Omari Anderson. Omari Anderson. As far as other businesses, we just have a tax company as well that we all pretty much run.
Just.
And, hold it down, yeah.
Tax company. Everybody's doing it.
I'm Jelon Anderson, and pretty much everything stemmed from our tax company. I also have a personal basketball training business as well. Train all ages, whoever is inspiring to reach their full potential.
Oh man! Shout out to I do the mixtapes for folks.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, for my friends' sons.
Yeah. You put that little mix together.
Stop sending me this stuff. Why don't you make a tape so you can actually send it out to the folks?
Yeah, one of the things I felt like was important, especially in business, as you walk through the course of life, you find yourself involved in certain aspects, whether it be sports, and one of the things we enjoy has been basketball. We hang out a lot together. Even prior to Rich and Poor, we would all hang out together, right? Okay. So creating businesses around things that you're already into, right? So when you think to yourself, well, we frequent these spots all the time, I think we can create one, right? Basketball training, well, we've learned a lot about the game. I think we can teach others, right? And finance, being in the finance sector, I mean, every part of your life is going to deal with some level in a country like the United States, finance is going to be very important. So make sure we bridge ourselves in the financial sector is also as important, as well as, when I shared with you earlier, that the acquisition of just real estate, so that housing these different sectors we're in becomes another part of the long-term play.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Why did you decide to put your arm in this endeavor, Rich and Poor?
It was self-explanatory for me. Like Rich said, we hang out, we kick it. So it's not going to be too many times you're going to see us out that we're not around each other. So it was an easy no-brainer. Once the idea got brought up, it was like, So I'm here, you know, whatever. Like I said, it just helps knowing that this is what we've been doing for some time now. So
yeah,
like I said, it was.
Well, I think it's always good to have a space and a place that you can call your own, to go to exercise your mind, to release, to be around like-minded individuals. And I find it much, much better when you control the environment yourself. So kudos to you guys about that. Why did you decide to?
Well, I'm pretty much, I guess we all are pretty much a jack of all trades. One of my trades was I was in the hospitality business. I worked at Cheesecake Factory for about 2 years.
Okay.
I've always been personable, so I felt like that'd be a no-brainer for me. That industry wouldn't be any issue, wouldn't be any complications. So I got into that, and I was the best server that they had, going right into it, and not knowing that later on I'm going to own a hospitality, or be part of the ownership of a hospitality business. But I think just having that opportunity, seeing that opportunity is available, like, hey, we're going to have our own spot, and then I'm like, well, I mean, that's right up my alley. I mean, as far as what I've experienced, my past experience with working in the hospitality business, where I said, you know, that'll definitely, I could definitely help out.
Where are you guys originally from?
Originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Migrated to Atlanta at different times. They came originally with our father in the mid-1980s, and I came in the 1990s, early 90s. Yeah.
Wow. So entertainment is something that Rich and Poor is doing, the space. Can we speak on that? Because I want to make sure that people know.
No, I think that's very important. So, you know, we touched base on kind of what the whole vibe and feel of what Rich and Poor is. But one of the things we're real proud of, probably mostly proud of, is the aspect of showcasing on our stage a lot of the talent that is in Metro Atlanta. But I would be remiss without also speaking to the point that one of the things, core concepts that we had, two pillars that we kind of operate on, they're very important, and I think important to mention, is what we have first is called Dark Spirits. So all of our handcrafted signature cocktails are by Black-owned liquor brands, meaning that these.
Say that one more time.
So all of our handcrafted.
I just want you to say that one more time.
So all of our handcrafted signature cocktails are by Black-owned liquor brands or distributors, right? So it's just showcasing. So that's a lot of brands, liquor brands, that most people don't know about because they don't have shelving anywhere. So we do extensive tasting and meetings with a lot of the brands that we met, that we sell, and we know the story behind those brands, and we know the taste of those actual liquors, and if they make it through the whole vetting process, then we'll sell them at Rich and Poor, and then we'll make signature cocktails with those particular liquors. And so that's very important for us. I don't know at the point of filming of any other spaces who have decided to showcase Black-owned liquor brands, but Rich and Poor, we do. The other thing is our stage.
And you do a podcast, right?
We're doing a podcast called Bar Talks, and so with the Bar Talks, to the point again, similar lane is what you're suggesting as far as podcasts, just showcasing some of these Black-owned liquor brands or entrepreneurs who are in the sector and kind of their story, what makes them unique, or not even so much what makes them unique, but just to talk about the experience being in the sector. How has it affected you financially? How has it affected you personally? What are some things that you learned that you didn't know that you would be experiencing when you got into it? Yeah. So yeah, that's Bar Talks, and yeah, that's been a fun experience as well. But as far as the entertainment of Rich and Poor, again, today the filming, every Thursday we have a showcase. So all that talent in Metro Atlanta has a house, a hub, a beautiful place where they can come, whether it be musicians, vocalists, to come and really showcase. So this is not karaoke. Like, the level of artistry that has graced that stage is really second to none. A lot of who's, you know, have graced that stage, and a lot of times a vocalist may be recognized as, oh, that's such and such, but those musicians right?
Yeah.
So when you go to concerts, those are musicians playing behind your favorite vocalist or your favorite act. And so a lot of those people also grace the stage as well. So it's not karaoke, but if you are a up-and-coming artist or established artist who wants to come or in town, which often happens when artists are in town, they want somewhere to jam out, they come to Rich and Poor.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, we're only 7 months old, so it's very, and we talk about it all the time, how fascinating it is. Like, in 7 months of time, we went from zero, not having experience other than Jay have a hospitality experience early on in his former life, in his younger days, to growing into what it's become at this point. There's so much more potential that we haven't reached, but each day we talk about how do we improve our product. But as it is right now, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Mm-hmm. I got a question. It's how, I don't know if your parents are still living or not, but how do you think they feel about you guys right now?
I know how I feel about us. I think about that, and that was actually what I was alluding to this past Sunday, Experiential Brunch. Mm-hmm. And our father coming in and sitting and just taking in what his seeds have accomplished, right?
Yeah.
And he comes from a large family, and I knew growing up from an early age how important family has been to our family collectively, and to know that he and his brothers also had aspirations of doing things together and creating things together. But oftentimes it's not necessarily you, but it's the product you create that ultimately reaches a destination, right? Absolutely. I think Moses said, what Moses didn't make it to the promised land, but those 40 years in the wilderness proved to be significant in making sure his people did. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what our parents are experiencing. There's a level of pride and happiness with that. And I think more than the financial success, it's just the camaraderie. Right,
being able to do this together.
Yeah, no, I definitely say I had a personal conversation with, my parents as far as them calling or texting certain things as far as being proud and just pretty much of like I said, not so much of, I don't talk about, it's very rare you're gonna hear me talk about money, the success and that aspect of it, but just so much of the fact that we're doing it, together, and then they can see it, they can come into the space and actually see that people are in here, or whether we're all sitting at the bar together having conversations and things of that nature. Like I said, I've had those personal conversations from both parents saying like, hey, I'm very proud of you. Continue to, be who you are, and, going forward. So, yeah,
that's special, bro.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah, same conversation, just saying we're proud of you all. Because, I guess what you're trying to showcase for your podcast is just family members being able to, make something happen. Mm-hmm. Where we get a lot of the stereotype is, you can't work with family, but they feel, as far as, the conversations I've had with our parents, that y'all were able to, and just the things that they instilled in us, and we've never had any real issues with each other. I guess that just stems from our upbringing.
Shout out to your parents, man.
Yes, no doubt.
It is. And you say I have a sister.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Baby sister.
So we share the same father and different mothers. So together we have a sister, and then I have two sisters separately. And I think the thing about it is, growing up, me being the oldest, I spent a lot of time with my brothers, right? Talking to them, or even them witnessing and seeing my development, right? So they had something to look at, like, okay, that's my bro, that's what he's doing. And so the transition to doing then going into business, it's very easy for me to introduce the idea and concept to them, because these are things that they've probably watched over the years. Like, yo, big bro, he does these things pretty cool, this, that, and the other, and that's something that that I could be a part of too. Whereas our sisters, it was more of a boys club. It was more of a boys club, and but no, they're still very close. We're very close knit family. But as far as the just that boys club, made it the transition from just doing what brothers do and then transitioning to business was just it was a natural progression.
So you guys, I know you spoke about doing things for children. You got an organization that does things. What do you think that you could say to other children, young adults out there, when it comes to, let's just say, entrepreneurship and following, or maybe doing what they want to do? And it comes better from a person like you guys, because y'all currently doing it. Y'all young, y'all doing it together, and sometimes a person needs to hear from a person that looks like them on why should they do it, how can they do it. So if you could speak to younger adults, younger, even black males or black females, or brown people for that matter, what would you tell them about?
I'll let you start.
I was gonna say, not only hear it, but see it, see us. You know, so I guess for me, in particular, I worked with the Boys and Girls Club for 10 years. So with being with the Boys and Girls Club, we had a program called Passport to Manhood, which for about 4 or 5 years I ran. So we probably had around 15 to 20 young black males that were, you know, associated with that program, and we would meet twice a week throughout the school year. And what I feel like they took out of those different sessions in particular were just, man, I can actually see somebody and he's actually talking it and living it, you know. So having certain examples and things of that nature, and actually being able to sit down with certain, you know, individuals individually and have those conversations with them, and just being personal about it, you know, letting them know, hey, it is going to be a struggle, but throughout the struggle, sometimes, you know, you see success, you know, and it's not going to always be that, you know, it's not going to always be just a clear path as far as where you want to be at and what, you know, where you want to go. You're going to have to go through those struggles, but I think it just means more when you see that, man, this is where I was, you know, this is where I came from, and this is where I ended up. Just having those personal conversations with those young men, to even the time that I left and still would go back to visit, I would still have those kids that I haven't seen in 3 or 4 years that would come back to visit and thank me, you know, and have that, man, I appreciate you having those conversations with me. It might have changed their mindset as far as what they wanted to do career-wise and things of that nature, and which, you know, it's not always, I'm just telling you from my perspective, you know, my story, you know, and if it's something that they gravitate to and can take from, so be it, you know. And like I said, I think it's just more so me just being something positive, you know.
And being present, bro.
Like you said, being present.
Being present.
Yeah,
shout out to Godfather Mentoring. I did mentoring for years. And it's also a point of accountability too. The young little adults that I used to be mentoring with, and when I seen them, I mean, like you said, y'all used to meet twice a week or something, they know that they have to answer to somebody. And it might not be anybody in the house that they answer to. And it just so happened, they're like, oh. So when we would spend time with each other, they'd be like, man, I was looking forward to this. And then we'll go over certain things. And it's the accountability part too, that they may or may not have had in the home, that I felt that was very important too. So yeah, shout out to the mentoring piece. You have anything?
So yeah, as they were saying, them seeing it, the youth seeing it, just that makes it tangible to the youth. You know that yes, like I said, I can do this. Also, that it does require a level of discipline, and the consistency of you staying on that path of entrepreneurship. entrepreneurship. Even if you say you fall on your face, lose everything, well, at least up until that point, the knowledge that you perceive up until that point, you can still get yourself back on your feet. And yeah, just right. I mean, it helps. It does definitely help to see somebody doing it. That is a lot of motivation. I would say a good 50% of what it takes, or that it helps being able to see somebody being able to do it, and then you're able to, they can come to us and ask questions, and we can give them being able to, we can actually reach out to this person. This person is not some dream.
Right.
Right.
Accessibility is first and foremost.
Being present, like you said.
What is your target audience in Rich and Poor? Like, I know y'all had a target or market.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. The analogy doesn't necessarily fit totally, but Mike Tyson said everyone has a plan to be hidden now. Right? And to be able to pivot from ideas, a concept, and execution, I think is pivotal in entrepreneurship, and it's so different in Rich and Poor. What Rich and Poor has become is an absolutely phenomenal date night and girls' night out, right? Because the vibe is a very sexy vibe. We call it foreplay for the five senses. Like, we want to touch every sense that you have. And at this point, what we see is like a lot of women are able to appreciate those five senses being touched. Perhaps Rich and Poor.
Is that the Wednesday piece?
Well, that's the whole experience, period.
Okay.
Right? So Wednesday, at time of recording, we do live poetry, which is Rich and Poetry. It's more of an erotic feel to poetry. That's Wednesday night. Thursday again is live entertainment. And Fridays, R&B Fridays, and Saturday is Essential Saturday. And Sunday again is have live entertainment for the brunch. So, but the premise in it is that the space has become its own entity, and the appreciation is at this point has been found from couples when they get out of town, from nice, sexy atmosphere is safe, and then women, the women here, 6, 7, 8 at the table, just having a wonderful time with amazing drinks, colorful, pretty drinks. So that's what the experience has been. So regardless of what we felt the direction of when we first opened the door, it's definitely become what it's going to be.
Right. Good job. What do you guys want to leave with? Anything y'all want to share with the audience, or with your patronage, or what you think Rich and Poor is going to be in the future? Anything?
Well, so we're only 7 months old as far as the experience of Rich and Poor. We're operating in the sector, so we're infants. So the growth, the potential of growth, because of how we operate in business, the growth and the improvements on operation will absolutely get better as we grow over time. But that's in it. That's in its own space. It's going to take care of that. But we're going to make sure it happens. But overall, if there is this entrepreneurial aspect that I want to be, I would tell everybody should be an entrepreneur. And I also would say nobody should be an entrepreneur. And I mean them both at the exact same time, because it is not for everyone. But for those people who are willing to go through it, because it is tough. It's very tough, it's demanding, it's challenging, and it does not happen overnight. Like, if you haven't had 7 failed businesses, I don't know if you're really in business at all, because it requires you to have failures. But the thing about it is you have to have so much self-talk. And I mean self-talk, and I mean the conversation you're having with yourself. That's it's so important. Like, there was a point, because the world is going to beat you up in entrepreneurship. The sale that you thought you were going to have, it didn't come through. The person that you thought you was working with, he was scamming, or whatever. You're going to go through things, and you're going to be beat up by it, right? You have fans, friends, and families who are also chastising, like, don't get a regular job, and things of that nature. So you can be able to have a conversation with yourself that is so uplifting. I remember I used to brush my teeth, and in the morning when I spit, I would tell myself, that is a phenomenal fucking spit. Excuse me, my language. But I'm talking about anything. You celebrate the small victories. And I try to find anything, And entrepreneurs try anything to celebrate, to remind your mind and your energy that you are a success. And so you find it and you celebrate it. And so it becomes customary.
And that's rooted in gratitude too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I believe from the entrepreneur side.
Okay.
And for the rich and poor side, we're in downtown East Point. Again, 2 minutes from Tyler Perry Studios, maybe 3 minutes from Leonard Hartfield Airport. Great atmosphere, wonderful drinks, food as well.
Ample parking.
And free parking. It can be free parking. And at the point, it's free entry. So we're giving an opportunity for patrons to come in and really experience something different. And for all the viewers who live in Metro Atlanta, it's very hard to find a place that offers free parking, free entry, and with the ambiance that Rich and Poor offers, it's very difficult to find that. But here we are giving it to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we're black on.
And that's
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say?
And I expect top tier customer service. We understand in this hospitality or this business, the hospitality business, that's number one. So we definitely prioritize that with our customer service, so that we create the atmosphere with the customer service. No matter what everything else could be, good music, good drinks, good food, but that customer service is not up to par, then everything else is out the window.
Yeah,
so
true.
Expect top tier customer service.
Yeah.
Any final words?
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah. You've been trying to do this for a little minute, man.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you guys. It's a thing of, I told you I would rather show than talk.
Correct.
And that's how I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. But also, the people that I told I was going to do this is proof right here. And there's no other way that I can show my daughter or my friends or whatever than to just do it. But we want to do it with some good intentions and to be intentional about it. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys allowing me to come in and talk to you guys and be a part of the experience. And we're going to talk about this 7 years from now or 70 years from now about what Rich and Poor and how it's, changed other people's lives, changed your lives, expanded, and more importantly, just keep doing what you're doing. And whatever I can do, Fresh Aire Network, podcast, or any of my resources is to you guys, and thank you.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. So, Fresh Aire Network Podcast Studio, everybody needs a little fresh air, so get some.